third right now. They're a few points down. This close behind them. Bucky cannot.
Not forget, Clix was also down Bizzle in the last round there. It was just Booga and Clix working their way through that last game, just trying to figure it out, trying to stay alive, and they did just that. Just phenomenal movements from all the trios involved. I still can't believe, though, I still cannot believe Scented, Commandment, and Edgy gave up the lead. They gave up that first place spot by falling early, and we see what happens when
I picked Commandment, Scented, Edgy as my trio to win it this weekend. I've put all my 3 games of the 11 we've seen this weekend where they've gone down before placement. That's it. 8 of their other games, they've stayed up. And when they do stay up, they make that top 3 so consistently. So all they've got to do is that. And we saw that stat fly in last game, right, Monster? When Scented and Edgy have gone into the final game of a tournament in the lead, they have never lost before. But they lost their lead at the very last second, the second last game. So right now, we'll see it. We have storylines developing. They're heading out of Misty, fully stacked like they used to be. Slackjack Acorn got uncontested. Do you think there's any chance Slackjack and Acorn go for the big game? Do they look over?
I don't know. We've already saw them lose to Zaysaf in stretch before. It would just be such a risk to go ahead and take that challenge again. That is the only thing I can think of. If they were to take that risk, really, you have to weigh your options. Is it that much worth it when you see how good they're playing without it? I'd say no, absolutely not.
I think that's fair to say as well. Everyone's played phenomenal Fortnite here. We've talked about how this format really has led not just to the best players here today, this weekend in the 12-game format, but how the format rewarding top 3 so heavily with eliminations worth 2. If you can really tee it together with the eliminations across 12 games, you walk away with crowning the champions as the most consistent and unarguably the best players on NAE East. And that's what we're going to do here today, as 2 of them are set right now in the lead to take it. But as Vivid talked about in the pre-show, we have seen these teams go down early before outside of placement. But I want to point something out right now, Monster, coming into this final game. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn have only had 1 game of the last 11 where they have gone down without placements. Only 1 where Commandment, Scent, and Edgy have had 3. So right now, consistency actually does favor Slacks, Jack, and Acorn. It would have to be 1 of 2 of the games that they throw to go down before 17 teams.
Yeah, and let's just bring in, might as well rope in Day, Miro in reverse to this as well, because they, in the last 2, or the last 3, they fall in twice outside of the big placement there too, with no eliminations, and that's why they're hard stuck at 253, so you have to
FNCS Finals, that team was the most consistent on the day. They won by a solid 20 plus points over solid 20 plus points over Scented, Edgy, Commandment. They've had the we're going to do it back to back, and that's what that team has been triumphing back to back. But unfortunately for them, it's looking like Commandment, Scented, Edgy, Slacks, Jack, and Acorn have set the pace, but here they are. They're setting up. If they can get an early trio wipe, if they can play aggressive, and look at this, they aren't playing scared. They're not trying to hold on to third right now, Monster. This is the movement of a team that is trying to take first with a 105 snipe to open this up, and if they push this fight, this is everything you need to know. This team is definitely not playing for third.
Yeah, they have to be careful, though, because Creo, Illis, and Avery is up at Caddy's corner right behind them, listening to all this chaos go down as the team that rotated out was Nut Twex. They do manage to finish that off, so this is perfect for the Surge. It's perfect for the points they need to catch up, because they were 30 points behind. They have a substantial gap to close here. It's a victory Yao's worth, so they have to outperform, outpace everyone else. And remember, their top 3 at the very least is still riding on their performance right now.
Yeah, they can't go down early here. They need to secure at least that top 3 because we know how prestigious that is. The guaranteed invite to the next finals for a team who's already won the previous. They're playing so consistent and it's so fantastic. I talked about it earlier, Monster. Our top 3 teams are all teams that played together for the last FNCS finals and all of them placed top 5. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn came in 5th place in the last finals and now they're set to do it in 1st. Just seeing teams prove that consistency, chemistry, finding teammates that you can improve with and play together with is what ultimately leads to success. We're going to potentially see a podium finish today of teams that we've seen in this situation before. That means a lot going forward into a year where we have 3 more FNCSs still to come.
Yeah, for sure, and there's well over $500,000 on the line here. So if everything else wasn't enough, if the pressure of just, proving that you're the best and maintaining your lead and staying performance in shape wasn't enough, it's the riding on the line here. These fights that they're taking, they're nerve-wrenching. They are nerve-wracking for them too. You have to be careful. You have to play perfect Fortnite right now, and you cannot afford to miss a shot here. You just can't.
You just can't, and even though this is the 12th game of the weekend, we still have 27 teams, 79 players. We're teeing up for what I imagine will be probably just less than what you need for active Storm Surge. We need 70 players alive by the time the next zone closes, but at the same time, I have to think players are still in this one. They're still showing up big. It's for practice, it's for pride, and Reverse gets another elimination. Now, but 3rd place, Damir and Reverse, your FNCS champs, they're closing the gap with every elimination being worth 2 here as Slacks, Jack, and Acorn are getting tagged up a little bit on this rotate as they're pushing on to Chimp, Tabney, and potentially
it's an 8th place team. It may not be a team that's in the race for top 3. Dark horse teams to really perform.
Going for these mid-game fights, taking down full trios. We've seen that in the past, but we haven't seen it that much this weekend, Monster. That title really has gone over to teams like Day, Miro, and Reverse, where we talked about how coming into today, Miro alone had more eliminations than 30 teams in this field as Acorn sets up, gets the big shots. This is huge right now. When there was only a few eliminations separating 1st from 2nd, if they get a full trio wipe here, or if they get taken out themselves, this is going to shift up the leaderboard so fast. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn are not playing scared. You would not think this was a team in 1st place right now because they are playing to push their lead forward, not just hold on to it.
Oh, and they do manage to get the knot, pick them up, and get the shakedown here. That'll be all the information that they can extract out of Teo right there. And it seems like Tabney and Chip back off, and they leave him there to be finished off and taken out. Big performance, big win right there for Slacks, Acorn, and Jack. And you know what? It's still worth a lot. Like I said, to that 8th place team, there's thousands of dollars on the line now. If you slip out of the top 10, if you rank your way up to the top 5, the incremental pricing increase is crazy. You really want to stay in the running right now if you've made it this far.
Centered Edgy Commandment. Look at the loadout, Monster, on Centered alone right now. This is what has made this player and made this team's reputation. They are the low ground kings for a reason. Coming out of Misty Meadows, that drop spot fits their playstyle perfectly because they get that almost guaranteed Dragon Shotgun. I've talked about it. Condor, the NPC at Misty Meadows, one of my favorite characters in the game because I also love that shotgun. Centered puts it to such good use on the low ground. I've talked about this before and people have always asked, how does Centered Edgy Commandment play low ground so well with the fire spreading from the Dragon Shotgun? Centered's aim is so good that if you didn't know you hit every single pellet on that Dragon Shotgun, the fire doesn't spread because it's absorbed by the player. And that's how deadly accurate Centered is with his shots, that's why you don't see this team running around in the fire builds on low ground. That is why they are so insanely dominant and they have that win condition right now on Centered.
It's the subtle things. It's the little things. And that's what separates, the normal player from an exceptional one. These guys are well above the average. They're a cut above the rest. Several, if you will. But hold up. Take a look at Commandment, who's holding up this big tower here. Where is his teammates? Where is the rest of the gang? Are they inside the stealthy stronghold? Yes, they are. So they have a wide spread going on here. They have to be careful. Reverse 2K, Miro, and Day are moving up the mountain. If they sniff out, it's only one player up there. I mean, they're known to jump on those kind of weaknesses and take advantage.
They've got to be really, really careful. That's a big spread. And what an end game right now. Hunters got everything in this end game. Pretty much no matter which way this pulls, it's going to be difficult for this team, as you can just, even without the minimap, right, Monster, you'll be able to sense where the terrain is as all of these teams try to huddle up and get the prime position on these mountains to play into this end game. No one wants to set up down in the valleys. Everyone wants to have their kind of, I don't know, their hair in the breeze up there, as Acorn, Jack, Slacks have a mountain. Clicks, Bizzle, Booger have a mountain. We saw the Commandment Centered Edgy have several mountains right now. Everyone's setting up for this end game.
All the big names are in position. They're mound there sitting up underneath. Commandment, there they are inside a way over here. Sense and Edgy opposite side. They have to be careful. Even crossing back now to try to get back to Commandment is going to be a risky one. The longer they take, the more likely teams are to migrate on in. Luckily for them, there's not a lot of squads looking in here, not a lot of situated teams looking between this little crevice here, and they do get to get back, but look at the material it's costing them. That's a lot. That's a little setback for them.
And they get the tags out. Now, I noticed Center was actually juggling extra meds into their builds as well. He had spare big pots as well. Now they get the airdrop, so things looking fantastic for this team. 26 teams alive, 70 players. We are not going to get active surge, but we saw this last game. There was no 70 active surge, but it went down to the 50 as all the players that are still in this are focused up and they want to perform. Keep your eyes on that feed. You're looking for any of the top teams to go down. In case you've just tuned in, you don't know what's at stake. This is the last game, the 12th game of the NAE East Trio Finals, and you have Slacks, Jack, and Acorn in first, Commandment Centered Edgy second, Daymir Reverse in third, and all of them are jockeying right now, trying to all huge names. If any of them go down here, it will mean everything, as if one of these teams goes down before placement, that'll be it, and we'll see players run away with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look at the pressure going on here. Zypha and Twexy go down. I think that Stretch on the other side to pick up the loot, though. They're going to go ahead and snatch all this up right here real quick. You can see they start to mark it out, try to see what they can find. It's not going to be much, but yeah, those elims actually fall into Zayt and Saf's hands, so they don't get it. They still only have one elim, but at least they get some tags for it, so it's not for nothing.
I'm pretty sure we saw Slacks, Jack, and Acorn points should still be holding right now. That is the difference. 5 points. Eliminations are worth 2. That is one trio wipe from having, there it is. That is the difference right now from first and second. The most hard-working players in the community as well. Centered and Jack especially do not get enough credit for how much time they put into this game, how much effort they put into it, and how much it means to them. I know they're playing for first, not for the Champions pickaxe, not for the prize money, but for the pride and the accolades. That's why they do what they do, and I can't wait to see who walks away with it. I have my pick on Centered Edgy Commandment. I'd love to be right for my own pride, but honestly, seeing either of these teams win it will be so exciting, but who is going to be able to do it? They're both heading into endgame. All top 5 teams are still alive, Monster.
Yeah, it's about the dignity, that gratification you get from taking it all. That is what these guys are fighting for. That is literally the difference maker. It's what the best compete for. It's the adrenaline that you get in these big stages here. Acorn, Slacks, and Jack, though, let's evaluate the situation. Loot looking pretty decent. That's solid. Above the surge threshold as well, very comfortably. That's going to last them a zone or two's worth. So I'm liking the position this team is in. I'm loving the load as we're circling through these 3 individual perspectives. There's chug splashes across the board, big pots, minis, and shieldfish alike. This is solid.
Slackjack and Acorn have a winning loadout. Commandment Sense and Edgy also have a winning loadout right now. None of them have an excuse for how this endgame goes, but they are set up in very different situations. If Commandment Sense and Edgy manage to get this zone on top of them, it would be massive, as we have Nosh, Jamper, Paper, and we have Booger, Clicks, Bizzle in 4th place. Everyone's setting up for this. We have 10 seconds. The final game, Monster. Half zone. Which way is it going to go? Who is going to be blessed and who is going to be challenged? It doesn't mean it's all over just because you don't get the zone, but we know how important this is here to bring everything back.
They want to fight. They want to fight for it, and they're not here to give it up. Harpoons are going to come out from Clicks. Imagine if he pulled someone off there. That'd be crazy. He's not giving up his opportunity to do it, though. He's still attacking all enemies in the line of sight. Here goes the Storm Surge. It is out. It is active, and that means players are going to have to get fighting. Yes. Yes. Look at the players here as well.
They have to be careful. We saw Clix' team chop out Zate's team in a very similar situation, right? And I even saw Bizzle take to Twitter to gloat about it a little bit. You don't want to see Bizzle, Clix, and Booger fall there if you're a fan, because they've built up high and they're reinforced, but not quite enough for my liking for how high up they are. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn also got this zone right now. Saf is making his way across. Macwood is taking down AIDS in the feed. Where is Sent and Edgy Commandment? They had a complete opposite half-half. Have they made the rotate, and how are they going to get here? There they are. They're making their way through the builds, but once they come out here, once they hit the open air, it's all going to be down to them to pick the right path. They're splitting up a little bit, though. I hope Commandment Edgy are going to come back up centered. Looks like they're going to try and break their way through. They got to be careful here. There's a team in there. Centered takes some tags. This is your second place team just making it to half-half. First place team is already in. They all have the loadouts. 3 teams to go down before placement. No one is going down early.
Yeah, let's not forget Reverse 2K, Mero, and Dare also out there amongst the Wolves. There is so much threat here in the field. There is so much threat, and they're not just safe just yet. They're going to have to inch their way in just a little bit more. It's Avery on the other side of the wall. The Elders team that was to the left has already moved. They're gone. Here's Acorn, Slacks, and Jack trying to get another position up, trying to get a better angle coming into this new zone. There's so much congestion here because it went up and over the mountain. Now it's going to go down and out through the valley to the open field. This is a too volatile. They're gonna have to give it up.
This is the zone that will literally wake you up in a cold sweat. This is nightmare fuel. It is going to go across and over the waterfall. You need to stay up. You can't drop down. One misplaced step, one wrong move, one wrong bouncer, one opponent that wants to break you out, and you are going to fall all the way to the very bottom and potentially fall out of your place on the leaderboard. But if you can stay up, if you can make it across, if you can bridge your way against all these players, you will survive and you will potentially win it. Look at that drop right now as Acorn is going down. No, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, very deliberate, phenomenal play from this team. Bouncing the front side, staying in line now. They want to be beneath everyone else's builds. They don't want to be the team on the top, and they don't want to rely on another team. They're building the tarps. They look phenomenal. Can Centered Edgy Commandment get down in such a good position as well, or are they going to fall early?
I like that they're keeping a low profile, staying away from the other opponents. Is massive, and those are big pickups there. That's more loot for them to work with. That's more for them to go ahead and power their way through. They're one step closer to being your FNCS champions. This is such a race. All of the teams we need to be here are still here, and now that they're finding elims, it's going to allow them to continue to maintain the lead.
Everyone is still in this right now. We saw EU come down to the steamy endgame with the top teams all going head-to-head. You and me, Monster, said it's going to be hard for NAEs to top that or even match it, but that is exactly what they're doing. All of our teams are up still here. We have a nightmare zone. Zate, Saf, and Stretch, the kings of the high ground, are on height. Clicks, Boozer, and Centered so low right now. Commandment and Edgy, they're on the back foot. They're 70 below. This is their last-ditch effort. Bottom right, keep your eyes on that. Everything is on them. Only 37 above. They need to hold on. They are clutching it very little right now, Monster, to try and hold in this one. Centered goes down. It's just up to Edgy and Commandment. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks are still up, and they came into this game with a 5-point lead. Edgy, Commandment, what can you do to hold on to this?
And day finds night. Miro's gonna find the last tag onto Ascended there too, so that's a team that's fine in tags. Remember, it is a three-way race right here for first place. Look at it. There's Day's eliminations. Day gets knocked by Zayt on high ground. This is back and forth right now for all the teams that matter, and it's so much pressure on Edgy's back. Edgy brings someone down into the box. Will he be able to find it? It's back and forth, and I think he does. It's onto Aviv. They're going into a box-to-box fight. Right across from them, Jack, Acorn, and Slacks. They can see what's going on, but they're not looking across. They're looking down, and the punishment comes back. This
This is essentially a Skybase. Edgy goes down. It's all down to Commandment, but he's still getting eliminations in the feed. He has won, but he is now a solo in second place, versing a trio. He's stepping up. He's doing everything he can to hold on to this. Commandment has shown such skill here today. We've seen some of the best players I have ever seen in first place. You have Commandment as a solo going up against Jack, Acorn, and Slacks as an entire trio. He has no builds, trying to jump his way through this. He's dropping down. He's going to his home on the low ground, but in a zone like this, you don't want to be here. He's got nowhere to go. He jumps. That's it. Second place is down. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn in first place. They are still up. This is potentially their victory lap, Monster.
Yes, definitely now, and Acorn is trying to jump down. He gets taken out. It's up to Slacks here and Jack to pop off. Pull in as much as they can to solidify this home run. And let's see if they will be able to take it home on the low ground, though. Kanata, Macwood, and Bucky here still picking up points. The race for top 3 is on for them, and they've made it all the way to top 3 here today. So many eliminations. Who are we going to see make it back? Miro is still in this. That's a second place. Miro has so many eliminations. Wait a second. First place is not guaranteed for anyone. Not just yet.
It is not.
Will the FNCS champions do it? It's so close.
They took it down. Miro dropped down there. Miro actually managed to take out Slacks, Jack, and Acorn. Third shotgun. Kanata takes down Saf right now. These are two of the biggest teams in the business. Kanata's team needs this. They're in fourth place. They're fighting for third. Bucky is trying to secure that invite straight into next FNCS finals. Zayt, the king of the high ground. Can he do it? It's going to come down to literally one tick. 10 health. Zayt falls. Bucky just manages to win it with 10 health right now. Monster, that was everything you want from a game of Fortnite.
They just went toe-to-toe, gun for gun, shot for shot, blow for blow, and Bucky's team takes it. Kanata, oh my gosh, what a game.
But we also still had second place. Commandment sent an jump off high ground. He had no builds. Slacks, Jack, and Acorn went down. They secured the placement points though, but was it enough? They went in on only a 5-point difference. Everything just shook up.
The fact Miro was there too. Miro had upwards of 10 eliminations as a trio there. They got third place. We know the significance of getting those placement points. They surely had more elims than Commandment. I don't know who's going to take this all.
Okay, I don't know who's going to take it. Either way, we have to throw it to the desk. That is going to be it from me and Monster D-Face. Aussie Antics, thank you so much. We appreciate us having us. Analysts, break it down because this is going to be so close. I don't know.
Okay, first off, before we say anything, all right, thank you, Monster D-Face. Thank you, Aussie Antics. If you guys are not following those two and these two, please take a second, because they poured their heart and soul into today, and we could not have asked for anything else. Okay, I can't believe that it came down to a 4-point difference, but your trio's champions out of NA East, who held on to the title. That's right, it's Slacks, it's Acorn, it's Jock. We are talking 4-point difference, boys. Commandment, Scented, and Edgy, they almost pulled out all the... managed to hold on.
Wow. I mean, that last game that we've just watched had absolutely everything you could have completely asked for. The top 4 and 5 teams all alive in the top 6, plus they in there as well. And look, and Edgy. We saw Commandment, Sent, and Edgy in that last game struggle with the Storm Surge and eventually be taken down. And if they'd managed to get that little bit earlier, a little bit more surge, keep them going through the movement, keep them going a little bit further in that end game, man, we could have seen a complete changeover. And how can we not talk about Commandment's huge solo clutch that he made there, getting way more placement points after the other two had gone down? Like, every team here in the top, what an incredible performance today.
No doubt that Scented and Edgy were performing so, but I feel like there was just so many moments on the broadcast where we got to see Commandment alone in the end game, clutching up these points. And he clutches up the second place for his trio. Like I said, Scented and Edgy probably played so much factor to him edging that second place out for his team. And yes, Aussie's prediction and Reese's prediction, you guys do surpass me by 3 points because Bucky and Kanata and Macwood secured the third place spot with just 3 points behind. But man, looking at that top 5, Slacks, Commandment's trio, Bucky's trio, then Reverse's trio, and then Clix's trio, like that is, I don't think we could have asked for like a better top 5 right there. That is a solid top 5.
I mean, over top 4, there was only 12-point difference from first to 4th.
Yeah.
Incredible. And look, we've not talked about as much about Slacks, Acorn, and Jack yet, right? We've just hyped up Commandment, Sent into Edgy, Bucky, Kanada, Macwood, these guys have obviously performed, but our first place slot, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, I feel like visually watching them, you may not perceive them to be playing as well as they were because, they weren't popping off with massive elimination games coming into today as much, but listen to the placements. 4th, 10th, 3rd, 4th from their last. Oh no, once you hit that top 3, that's when those big placement points kick in. So playing the format incredibly. So despite the fact that, they weren't getting as many eliminations as, Day's team, for example, we already saw them pick off massive amount of eliminations in day 1. They're just coming out of Slacks, Acorn, and Jack. Blew it away. 4-point lead. Couldn't have been closer almost.
Listen, we talked about them every single weekend of those qualifiers, every single time in their heat, and we gave them so much respect. And I feel like in the they flew under radar. We're talking about all these other trios, and then they came out, they played these 12 games, they got the best average placement out of anybody. They ended with 6.83 average placement. The second best average placement was 9. So they averaged 2 places better. Like, they played out of their minds. Congratulations to them, because I really do think that they deserve it. They played absolutely incredible.
It is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Fortnite fam, so much. Once again, congratulations to our new Trios champions. You want more Fortnite action? We'll make sure to stick around, because don't forget, we got NA West. We got another Trios champions to crown. Fortnite fam, we love you. Follow these incredible humans. And we'll see you guys next season. As always, we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Beep, beep.
This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. Oh, really? No time to stabilize reality, but plenty of time to revoke my credentials. This is Agent Jones requesting access to all materials related to the 7. Oh, great! Okay, if you're not going to give me what I need, I'm just going to have to take it.